Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good noon, wherever you are. Thank you for choosing us as your stream of choice. Trump is set to speak in probably roughly 20 minutes. I would just like to say hello to all of my moderators, to all the people on the chat. Today is a very interesting day, very electric day. There's another rally later on today at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. No, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, sorry. Usually I'm used to the Eastern times. Anyways, so there's a rally today for California down in Costa Mesa, California. That's Orange County. If you are in California, make sure that you go on his website and get yourself your ticket and get out there and show some support. We will be out there, and I will be streaming it live, but I'll be streaming it either through YouTube or through Periscope, whichever one I get the better signal. That's the one that we will be using. To get the link for the rally later on, please follow me on Twitter. That'll be the only way for you to get the direct link to that stream. I will also be filming the whole time, and I will make an awesome video that will probably come out tomorrow, most likely. So look out for that. We have a new video up on our channel. It has nothing to do with the rallies. It's just more of a promo for the California rallies coming up starting tomorrow. But there will be definitely a lot more in May. So look out for that too. Like I said, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy. One quick thing. If you are a Bernie Sanders supporter, Bernie Sanders is basically out. He's just in it just to, I don't know. It's a joke. But if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, we encourage you and welcome you to jump on the Trump train. Because the Trump train is plowing down everything and anything in its path. but we welcome you if you are a supporter of Bernie Sanders. There's more than enough room on the Trump train. And let's knock the hell out of Hillary once and for all. right, so let's play the polling game while we wait. He is set to speak in the next 10 to 15 minutes, so we have some time. All right, so if you're new to our stream, we play a little polling game. If you agree, press 1. If you disagree, you press 2 to the following question. The question is, America should try to stay out of foreign affairs that do not affect us. Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. Again, the question is, America should stay out of foreign affairs that do not affect us. Let us know what you think. Next question. The next question, okay, so if you agree, press 1. If you disagree, press 2. Should Comrade Sanders drop out of the Democratic race? Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. Remember, if he drops out, all of the Sanders supporters are more than welcome to jump on and ride the Trump train all the way to the White House. Please let me know if you're having any issues with the audio or the video. If everything is fine, press 1. If some of you are having issues with the audio or video, please let me know which one it is, and I'll try to make any adjustments accordingly. Thank you very much. If you're new to our stream, please hit that like button. If you want to join our community, hit that subscribe button, and you'll get notifications every single time there's a rally or a primary. We stream both of those. When it comes to like Fox News interviews or CNN, we don't do those anymore because we don't want to get shut down again. We got shut down once and we don't want that to happen. So for now, we're just going to stream the primaries all day and all of the rallies, including tonight's rally in California. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Wow, that's so nice. So I've never done this. I did it last night. I've never done this before because, you know, I'm supposed to be introduced, but in this case, I have to do a quick introduction, right? You know what I'm talking about. Because there's a certain man that loves Indiana. Truly loves Indiana. Good. And he loves our country dearly, dearly. But here's the story. I checked it, and I knew it was good. I didn't even know it was this good. But, you know, Bobby called me up. He called me up about a year ago. And he said to me, hey, Donald, I don't know him. I didn't know him. I knew of him. He was, to me, the best. You don't get any better. Tough. Would you say he was tough enough? Would you say? But, you know, not just tough. Smart. Tactical. He was a winner. He was a winner and still is a winner. Believe me, the best. So he just calls me and he said to me, run. This was before I decided to run. I was thinking, I mean, you know, doing that is hard. It's hard to run. It's like, what do I need this for, right? My wife is saying, what do you need it for? We want to make America great again. That's all. That's all. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And, you know, we have a chance. We have a chance, honestly, and I see this because no matter where we go, we have thousands and thousands of people. And I think we have a chance to make America greater than ever before. I really mean it. With that being said, we can't slip. We can't slip. We can't have another of effectively Obama again. We can't. We can't do it. All right. So Bobby called and he said, you know, if you ever run, if you decide to run, because people were talking, maybe I'd run. If you decide to run, I would love to endorse you, to help you if you decide to run, because you could be good, real good. So I said, you know, Bobby, I really appreciate that. At first I had to make sure it was really him. And we did. And it was really him. I said, give me a number, Bobby. He gives me a number. I put it down. I put it aside. And that was a year ago. And then on June 16th, I decided to run. And who knew that Indiana, usually, you know, it's over or something, but all of a sudden, Indiana is going to have such an unbelievable impact on the decision on who it's going to be. Who it's going to be. And I'm the only one going to beat Hillary, and we'll beat her so badly. So badly. These others will not. The others are just cookie cutters. And I watched Ted Cruz this morning. Oh, I can't listen. So dramatic. Can't watch. So anyway, so I called Bobby. I said, hey, Bobby, it's Donald Trump. He goes, I've been waiting for this call. That was 3 weeks ago. I said, is the offer still good? He said, it's good. It's good. When do you want to do it? And we did it last night, and the place went crazy, okay? Because he's a winner. He is such a... We like that. I mean, and that's what we need in the country. We don't win anymore. We're going to start winning again. So I'm with his friend, and Charlie's back there, great friend of Bobby. And I said, give me the whole state. I knew he won the 3 national championships. He won the Olympics. He won the Pan Am Games. He won 900 games. 900 games. Then he had the perfect season. Okay? He had a perfect... And I didn't realize this. In fact, I was surprised. There hasn't been a perfect season since. And I said, do you mind if I talk about... Because the season before that wasn't so bad. He lost 1 game, right? He said, and it was my fault as a coach, Donald. And I want you to tell them that. Just say, if he didn't screw up, he would have had 2 perfect seasons. I said, Bobby, I can't say that. He said, it's okay. It was my fault. But I mean, think of it. He had 1 loss, and then the next season he had a perfect season. And he loves you people. That I can tell you. So I want to introduce a total, absolute winner. Smart, tough. He's got the whole package. And the fact that he endorsed me means a lot. And then I'm going to come back and we'll talk for a little while, okay? Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight.
let, let me let me first tell you that I was very, very selective with players during the time I was here. And I'll tell you one thing, that man that was just up here a moment ago, I'll tell you, that sumbitch could play for me. This was a real neat thing for me because I have for some time leading up to where we are now felt that above anything else, this country needed Donald Trump, and that was before I ever even got to know him. I thought that just reading about him and studying about him. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity that you folks have. You know, I have never voted. I'm not here to represent the Republican Party. You know, quite frankly, I don't give a damn about the Republicans. And then on the other hand, I don't give a damn about the Democrats either. But I really think that we have, as Americans, a great opportunity not to represent a political party, but to pick the best that we have available to lead the United States back to where we want it to be. And this man's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. At heart, he's just an American. And you will find as time progresses that, and I was a history major in college, and I've spent a lot of time studying about history, and as I've gotten to know a little bit about politics, but just believe me when I tell you that there has never been a person with a background that has better prepared him for entrance into the White House than the backing, all that he's done, the things that he's gone through, what he's done, the businesses that he has erected, and even some of the problems that he's had, because what he's done that nobody we have now can do. What Mr. Trump has done is when things have gone wrong, he hasn't whined and complained about it. He's figured out how the hell to fix it. And that's one thing that you can bet. I mean, he's going to take care of things that have not been taken care of before. And you folks here in Indiana, first of all, let me tell you that I want to thank you for having had the opportunity to coach here, because basketball my favorite thing probably in the world next to my wife is basketball. And you folks adopted the game before anybody else did, and you thought more of the game of basketball than anybody else has. You've had great players and great teams at schools, and I just want to thank you for having been a part of that and having had the support that you folks had. And I'll tell you this, I want you to keep in mind that Mr. Trump said about how many games we'd won and so forth. Well, those games were won by kids that wanted to play at Indiana, and they played with a uniform that said on it, Indiana. And that's something that you should take pride in. And are you standing, or can you sit down, or what do we got there? I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, you can stand long enough till your ass is dragging now. That's why I want you to sit down and relax a little bit here. That's great. I this that I'm not here to represent the Republicans or the Democrats. You know, I'm here because I think he's the best man. I think, you know, you've had some great politicians here, and why I don't think the party makes a damn bit of difference, because I'm going to throw two names out to you that I will forever be grateful for having known, and they were Doc Bowen and Birch Bayh. One was a Republican, the other one was a Democrat, but both of them were Indiana people. And that's the same thing with Donald Trump. More than anything else, not a Republican, not a Democrat, not born here. He's an American. And if you folks will get together and go out and vote for this man, you will be putting him on the first step for the United States to recovery as what we all want. You just vote for him, and he'll do the rest. He needs you to get him started, and he'll do the rest, and we will be of what he's doing. I can't even tell you what the kind of pride we'll have in this country when that happens. Tell you my little story that I think is important. I've liked this story, kind of made it up myself. I always kind of thought that when I coached, I was in charge. You know, I didn't need somebody else to tell me who to play or how to play or anything else, but I'm a great fan of the man in charge, the man or the lady in charge, and whichever male, female.
All right, so it looks like the feed has been cut. Give me 1 second. I will try to bring it right back. All of the streams are exactly the same. So hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Now that I got a license, am I going to be able to use the car once in a while? Your car or mom's car, or what do you think? And he said, well, son, I knew this day would
All right, so I
come.
guess
You know,
we're
all
back.
of us as parents, we've had that with our kids wanting to drive a car. I knew this would come, son, but there are some prerequisites. Number one, your grades have slipped. Number two, mom isn't real happy with the way you treat your brother and your sister. Number three, we've got a couple of other things where you're supposed to be doing some work with things and you haven't gotten it done. And these are prerequisites, son, that when you get hold of, then we'll talk about the car. But now there's one other thing too in this little group of prerequisites with the car, and it's that damn long hair of yours. I am tired of it. I've told you about it, and that's one of these prerequisites. And when you come to see me, John, then we'll talk about it when you think you have fulfilled my prerequisites. About 3 weeks later, Johnny comes in to see his dad. Dad looks at him and said, well, son, I think you're here to talk to me about prerequisites. I said, Mom is really pleased with the way you're helping with the youngers. You've done a great job with your academics. You're back in stride where you should be. And everything I've required of you you've accomplished. But John, there's one thing left, and it's that damn long hair that you still have. And John looked at his dad and he said, well, Dad, now among other things, you told me that I would get an awful lot out of coaching, out of reading the Bible, not necessarily the religious side of it, but all of the great things that are in it, and suggestions and thoughts and ideas. And Dad, now this is a man in charge. And that's why we need this guy, because he'll be the best man in charge in history. And here's what happened by the man in charge. He looked at his son and he said, "You've done well, John, and yet you have not fulfilled that last prerequisite, that damn long hair of yours." "Well, now, Dad, it's partly because of you, because you suggested that I spend time reading the Bible. And when I was reading the Bible, I found that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Jesus himself all had long hair, Dad." Dad looked at him, and this is the kind of man in charge we all want. Dad looked at him and he said, "Son, you are absolutely right about that." And they walked their ass off everywhere they went. And I think that's kind of a pretty good moniker to hang on a guy. Is that he's the man in charge, and then that's what we've got here. But just a couple of things about Mr. Trump that I think you need to know about Mr. Trump are these. You know, he's got a great job, a tremendous responsibility. And he's a man that will take care of that in a way that we all want. He's got a great reputation abroad. Jobs is a big issue right now, not just in the United States, but all over the world. This man has created more jobs and hired more people than any American ever has during his lifetime to date. He's been into all kinds of things. And he's done this not just in America, but across the world. And he has reputation, a great feeling people have for him and his intelligence, his diligence all over the world. This man isn't just here in our country. He's a man that's highly thought of for what he's done, what he's contributed. Now, with all the businesses that he's developed and all the things that have been successful, he's also like all of us. He's had some problems. This thing went kind of screwy. This thing went wrong, like we all have. But you know, what he was able to do in all of those circumstances, and this is what we haven't had anybody in the White House be able to do, he figured out how to correct things. When something went wrong, when something went wrong, he figured out a way to correct it. And he figured a better way to do something. And that's going to be astronomical as far as this country is concerned. A man not only gets things done, but he gets things done in the right way. And when something needs to be corrected, he can correct it. Now, I'll guarantee you a couple of things in the Trump administration. Number one, how many of you have sons, daughters, friends, or whatever, military people, kind of spread out around the world? How many, wherever they might be? Just raise your hands, wherever they might be. We in the Trump administration will never, ever have anything close to what happened in Benghazi. Those people who failed to take care. And those people who failed to take care of those 4 men that never came back from that Benghazi situation, that will never happen under a Trump administration. The White House and the military have not had a great relationship over the years. Donald Trump will settle that the first day he's in office because he has a I think that's the kind of respect that he will have for our military structure. And I think it will be a tremendous step forward for the United States. I mentioned the thing about jobs, so important to all of us. This man will find jobs. He'll create jobs. He'll work on having jobs for his American constituents. I just think that just be an absolute shame if we continue going in the same direction. Now, one other thing I'd like to ask you about the military is, how many Navy people did we have in the military over all these years? But you Navy people, I want you Navy people to hold your hands up. Okay, good. Now I want you to know this, though. You may not like this. I want you to know this. I spent 8 years at West Point with the Army, and Navy, I love you, I respect you, and we beat your ass every time we played you. But what we'll see now is a great relationship between the White House and the military. And they will be able to count on us, and we will be able to count on them. Another thing about Mr. Trump is he has a great ability to find people. And you got to find a lot of people in politics. And he has a lot of ability to get the right people in the right positions. And also he has a way of getting rid of the people that shouldn't be there. And we haven't had a lot of that lately. I think that, I've talked now enough, and as I said, I'll always be grateful about the opportunity to having coached in Indiana because of you people and your approach to basketball. I hope that as I have visited with you here today, I hope that I have made an impact on your thinking relative to the opportunity that we have to make America great again and to keep America great. And to do that, we need a leader. And right there to my right is the best leader in the world. And he will far more than reach the things that we are hoping for and we want for this country. As I step away from this podium, I hope as I do that, you people will think for just a moment and you'll say to yourselves, each and every one of you, damn it, how soon can I go out and vote for that guy? And I hope that's what you all had to say. Thank you.
How's that? Good? That's good. A friend of mine from Indiana said, well, if you could get Bobby Knight, that would be good. So there's nobody like him. So thank you very much. We have so many things to do. And I have so much time. I'm not leaving Indiana. We're going to be here. We're going to be here. And I'll be here enough that you're going to be sick of me. You're going to say, oh, when's he getting out, right? When's he getting out? We're going to do great here. And I guess all of the polls are indicating we're going to do well. And it's very important. Getting out to vote on Tuesday is so important. We have a movement going on. You know, in a way, I call it the smart movement. We want to be smart again. We're not smart anymore, folks. We don't win anymore, but we're not smart anymore. So we call it the smart movement, and that's what I want to have. So let me ask you, is there somebody named Chad here? He was wearing a blue shirt. He was on television this morning on NBC. Where's Chad? You know, because outside we have thousands. And in another room, is that Chad? Is that you? Were you interviewed? Were you wearing blue before, or is that it? Oh, there it is. That's it. That's my Chad. He was so great. He was so great. Right? On NBC, I was watching this morning, and they're interviewing. He's standing in line for hours, right? Hours. And they come up to him and they start saying, well, what do you think? I love Trump. You know, these guys are the world's most dishonest people. They want you to change, and you know. And he wasn't, you weren't changing for anybody, were you, Chad? I love this guy. So I said, I'm going to mark it down. If I see Chad, I want to give him a little shout out. Thank you. You know, we have. Now, tomorrow you'll see Chad announces that he's running for mayor. Thank you very much, Chad. We have the most loyal people of anybody. And that's in the polls. That's not me saying it. You know, in the polls. In fact, they said something like 92%, whereas 30 and 20 and 10 is sort of common. If Cruz sneezes, if he just sneezes, his people leave him. Believe me. There's no loyalty. Nobody who can listen to him. Today, you know, I've been campaigning. We're going to end Obamacare. We're going to protect our Second Amendment. We're going to end Common Core. We're going to do. And then I'm watching this morning, and Lion Ted, I never saw anything like it. Donald Trump loves Obamacare. I love Obamacare. I mean, my whole thing is we're going to end it. And I hear him saying, and I said to a few people that were watching it, I said, let me ask you, do people believe this when he says that? It's terrible. It's terrible. And that's why in the Senate he's known as a liar. Marco Rubio, who's a good guy, called him a liar during the debate. Remember that? He said, you're a liar. I said, that's great. When another senator can call a senator a liar, I said, now I can do it also. So it's great. So we came up with Lion Ted, L-Y-I-N, boom, hyphen. But it's true. It's terrible. And now he's getting creamed in the polls, and he lost the last 5 elections. He was saying, I'm the only one that can beat Donald Trump. I have proven it time and time again. You know, I'm saying, oh, please. And I'm killing him. And he said, I won 7 times. Remember the debate? And I said, yeah, but I won 21 times. And he looked. Oh, so I won 7 times. And I mean, it's like unbelievable. So now he's getting clobbered, and he goes to New York last week, and they ran him out of the place. You can't run if you can't get like 12% in New York, okay? You can't run. You just can't. Too big. It's too important. I think I'm going to win New York, by the way. I really do. I mean, in the general election. And nobody else, honestly, because it's very important that we win. We got to beat Hillary Clinton. Crooked Hillary Clinton. Got to beat her. She's crooked. She is crooked. But you know, no Republican other than me will campaign in New York. I mean, they won't campaign. They're not going to do it because they have no chance. They have no chance. And Kasich has no chance. I mean, zero. So, and I understand it. And for years and years, they don't even go to New York and campaign. They assume that's lost. If somebody ever won New York, it totally, you know, with the Electoral College, it totally changes the map. And I think we'll win New York. I really do. I think we're going to win Michigan. We're going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to win Florida. We're going to win places. I mean, look how well we did in Florida. We're going to win places that a lot of people say you're not going to win, that you can't win. As a Republican, you can't win. And Michigan's a great example. Nobody else will go to Michigan. I'll be encamped in Michigan because I think we can win it. So we're going to win states that nobody thought were winnable as a Republican, and we're going to do really great. But so I love this. You know, the whole political world, it's so evil. I mean, it's so evil. You hear about people that you've never heard of before. It's just like worse than business. You know, somebody said, what's the difference between, you know, these certain politicians? Because certain politicians are terrific. I spoke to one today, Senator Corker, who's fantastic. We have a lot of great people. You know, we have a lot of great people. Jeff Sessions, Senator Sessions, he's fantastic. And there are others. And you know, once we get to the top, it's going to be so magnificent. I mean, so magnificent. But you saw what happened. So Cruz had this horrible thing. He came in third, meaning he came in last in all of these states. He did horribly, came in last in New York. Then we went to Pennsylvania. We went to all these people. He didn't even, I mean, he went and they said, don't even come here. And he got ridden out of town and he left. And I hate to tell you, he came to Indiana. He might as well come to Indiana because you're going to lose all those elections. And I hear him, he came to Indiana and he starts lying. That's why I wanted to get here fast. I didn't want a lot. I didn't take a big vacation after winning all 5 by a landslide, right? Didn't take a lot of time. I didn't want to take too much time because I know you got him back here lying like hell. So I said, I better get back to Indiana fast. I said, get me Bobby Knight really fast, please. But it's true, you know, I won, and people said, oh, good, you're going to take a day off? Because New York was hard. You know, it's a big state. I went to Syracuse. I went to all over, Patchogue. I went to out in Long Island, Bethpage, and I was all over the place. And it's the same thing. The businesses are being sucked out of our country. And if you look at New York, you look at Indiana, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at all of them, Maryland. I won them all. But they all have one thing in common. No matter where you go, it's like 40%, it's like 50%, 60%, jobs are gone. And I'm the one that brings up Carrier all the time. This morning, I hear Cruz. He said, and Carrier air conditioning, I've been talking about this company for 4 months. All of a sudden, he starts talking about Carrier. Carrier's my baby. I want to do the number on Carrier, folks. I want to do it. I don't like what they did. Now, Cruz was actually defending them, which was interesting. He said, we should really defend. You don't want to defend. When they leave, they let go of 1,400 people to move to Mexico. And you know what? They have to pay a consequence when they do that. They have to pay a consequence. They have to pay. And they want to move, that's fine. And they let them go viciously. It was almost like they were like on The Apprentice, right? All right, 1,400 people, you fired. Oh, it's pretty rough. They had some upper mid-level management guy, and somebody had the cell phone up. Those are dangerous. But they had the cell phone. And I saw it on television, and I thought it was terrible. I thought the way he did it was terrible. Basically, he said, we're letting everybody go. You're fired. But we're letting everybody go, and we're moving to Mexico. Oh, thanks a lot. And some of these people, they're following me. Is anybody here from Carrier today? Because they're all over the place, every place I go. But what happens is, so they let him go, and Carrier has to know that if they do that, and I'm not only speaking to them, I'm speaking to Nabisco and Ford and hundreds of other companies. They have to know that there are consequences when you want to leave and fire all these people. And you're not just going to go to another country, make your product, sell it across our really weak borders, because our borders are going to be so strong, folks. Our borders will be so strong. Believe me. So you're just not going to make your product, sell it across the borders. And this goes for all, not just air conditioners. And I would tell them. Now, ideally, I'd tell them early. And in all fairness, you know, you need the federal government has to set a standard. You can't do it from just a local basis. Unless they're moving to another state, then you got to fight it out. But we're keeping them in the country. But people aren't doing that. They're moving to Mexico. Mexico is a mini China right now. If you look at the automobile industry, what's going on in Mexico is incredible. NAFTA is a disaster. NAFTA was one of the worst things ever signed in the history of this country from an economic standpoint. NAFTA, it sucked our jobs away. It sucked them away. And John Kasich approved NAFTA when he was in Congress. He was a deciding vote for NAFTA. And it was signed by President Bill Clinton. There's a relative that's going to be running for office. Signed by Clinton. No, but I mean, you look at your empty factories. You look at what's going on. You look at, by the way, and you talk about an industry that's getting hit. Take a look at your steel industry, and I know what to do to fix it, folks. Believe me, these guys don't. These politicians don't know. Look at your steel industry in Indiana. And you look at U.S. Steel and these great, great companies at one time, and now it's like they're just not the same deal. And we're going to change it around. You know, China is dumping like crazy. They're dumping all over the place. And people said to me, oh, but maybe the product's going to cost more. And, you know, that's true. And they never say the second part. But we're going to have jobs, and that's going to more than offset the price, because we're going to have jobs again. We're going to have jobs. Our jobs are being taken away. And we're going to have a time, if I win, where Apple is going to make its product in the United States. So you watch. You watch. So Kasich approved NAFTA. You look at Cruz, and he doesn't want to talk about China's manipulation of their currency because TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, study it and remember the words. Because if I don't get in, I'll bet you it gets approved, and that will make NAFTA look like a baby. That's big time. That's not Mexico and this. That's 12 countries. They are going to do a number, and then China's going to be lurking in the background. They're not involved with it, but they are actually involved because if they love it, they're going to come right through the back door. This is a 5,000-page document that nobody in our country, in my estimation, has ever read, probably never even looked at. And all of the countries that are beneficiaries of it, meaning taking our money, our jobs, and everything else, they know every single word. They know where the commas are. They know where the paragraphs begin. And we don't have anybody that reads documents. You know, when you looked at Obamacare, it was thousands of pages, and nobody read it. Nobody read it. It's a disaster, by the way, total disaster. Your rates are going up 35, 45, 55%. It's a disaster. Nobody read it. Nobody even knows how to define it. The only way you can do it is you have to buy books, the definition, and they tell you chapters. It's horrible. It's horrible. Trans-Pacific Partnership is a disaster. So here's what happens. Okay, we have to go back because, you know, you all know how I feel. Just trust me. Trade, you're going to be so happy. You're going to be so proud of your country. You're going to be so proud of me. Me. I didn't need this. I built this great company. I have a nice life. I said, oh, what do I do? What do I do? My wife always says, are you sure you want this? I say, yeah, we're going to make America great again. We're going to do something great. It's very important. It's very important. My daughter Ivanka, who's so great, she's such a terrific person. She loves the country. She said, Dad, it's a lot of work. You know, when I do this and then I do 3 more today. And she said, Dad, do you enjoy it? And actually, I enjoy it. I must be honest. I think I enjoy it. It's a dirty business. It's a hard business. It's a rigged deal. I mean, the whole thing is rigged. You know, if I wasn't winning by so much, I'd have no chance because all the delegate stuff is rigged. I mean, it's rigged. You look at Louisiana, which I won, and that's when I found out. The state of Louisiana is where I found out, in all fairness. And then it happened in Wyoming, even worse, because they didn't even get a chance to vote. And then it happened in Colorado where they never voted. The bosses picked the winners. The boss. I never met the boss. I don't know. I want people to vote. But in Louisiana, I wasn't supposed to win. That was Cruz territory. Heavy on evangelicals who love me because they don't like liars. Remember with the Bible? The Bible held high and then he lies. But I've been winning with the evangelicals by a lot because they know 2 things. Pastor Jeffress said it. They know Pastor Jeffress has been incredible. If you look at Jerry Falwell Jr., who has been amazing, Liberty University, so many of the pastors and ministers and people that really understand, they say, you know, we need strength. We need protection. Like with the women, I won the women in New York by a tremendous margin. I mean, there's nobody cherishes and nobody respects women more than Donald Trump. That I can tell you. Nobody. And I won it so big in New York. And I was saying to somebody, women are going to do, I will be so much better to women than Hillary Clinton is. So much better on health care issues. And you know what else? On the protection of our country. Because ultimately, that's number 1, 2, and 3. We have to protect our country. We are in an evil world right now. We are in the most evil world. It's one of the most evil times ever. And I'm going to protect our country. And everybody agrees to that. Even the congressman that didn't like me said, well, I agree that Trump is tougher. And I agree that maybe he'll be better with the military. Well, once you're better with that, that's like about 80% of it. But we'll protect our country. We're going to make our military so strong, so powerful. Cheapest thing we can do. that nobody's going to mess with us, and we're going to take care of our vets who are treated far worse in many cases than illegal immigrants. Far worse. And we're going to make our vets proud that they served our country. Proud. Thank you. We love our vets. They're not being treated right. They're not being treated right. So we've been doing really well. But then, all of a sudden, we had this massive victory in New York where I got everything. I mean, I got virtually everything. You know, the dishonest media back there, they're saying like, well, let's see. Trump probably can't break 45. Well, we got almost 62. And that's hard when you have 3 people running. And you know, it's also hard. We had states where I had 9 people, and I'd get like 32 and win the state, and they'd say, he didn't break 50. Now, they're not stupid. They know you can't. You have 9 people. So we're doing good. We broke, and now we come to the next. New York was fantastic. And you know what the nice part about New York, which affects you? The New York people, the voters, know me better than anybody, okay? They know everything about Donald Trump. I mean, that's where I go. You know, it's been a long time I've been doing this, okay? Not this, but I've been out there a long time. And to get a landslide, which was almost 100%, far greater even than the polls, and every aspect and every location in the city did phenomenally well, and you win with numbers that nobody ever thought was possible. And those are the people that know you. So even if you come from Indiana or you come from someplace else, it's nice that the people that know you best can give you that kind of, you know, like for instance, if you do Hillary and you go to Arkansas, she doesn't do great in Arkansas. That's where she comes from. I'll beat her in Arkansas. She comes from Arkansas. And the truth is, they abandoned their state. I mean, they abandoned Arkansas, right? They abandoned Arkansas. So I don't know why. I mean, I'll say it. See, nobody else will say it. Nobody ever says it. They abandoned Arkansas for New York. And as far as New York, they're not real New Yorkers because they didn't come from New York. So either way, they can't win, okay? We'll win both of them. But it's interesting because, so now Cruz is getting clobbered. Now we win New York. Lion Ted, that's right. Let's go. Lion Ted, he's one liar. He is one dishonest guy. So here's what happens. So now I win New York, this incredible victory. Then we go to the 5 states, and these are very different because you have Delaware and Rhode Island, then you have Maryland, Connecticut, and you have Pennsylvania. Big, big. So you have 3 big ones. You have 2 beauties on each end. Very diverse, very different. The one thing they have in common, they're all losing a lot of jobs to other countries. They're tremendous, 45, 50%. You know, it used to be I'd say to my statisticians, give me the information like on Delaware, and then give me Pennsylvania the next day, and give me Maryland. And it was almost like 45% loss, 50% loss, 55% loss, manufacturing gone. But I almost didn't need it. I just go up, I have to say, hey, you got about 50% of your jobs are being lost. Every place, all over the country. It's like a disaster. They're being taken away from us, and the politicians don't know how to do anything about it. So Cruz is getting absolutely killed. Kasich is getting absolutely killed. Think of it. Kasich is now 1 for 38 or 42 or something. He won 1. And if I campaigned there for 2 days more, I would have won. 2 days more. I left Florida. I was all set to go to Ohio, and I had a dirty poll put out by the media. A dirty poll. You know what that is? A phony poll. And it said, because I was going to win Florida easily. And Florida was set up so that it was meant for Jeb or Marco, who's a good guy, Marco, I have to tell you. And Jeb is going to come around. I really believe that. But it was meant for the establishment, not for me. Winner take all. When they heard I was in the race, winner take all. Meaning the establishment will get 100% of the 99 delegates. That's one of the biggest, you know, Florida's a great place. Great governor, Rick Scott, great guy, great governor, doing a great job. A lot of jobs coming in. Florida's doing great. So 99 delegates, winner take all. And then 2 weeks after they formally did that, a poll comes out. There were like 6 people, 7 people. Donald Trump had almost 50% of the vote. They said, whoa, we got to go back. This is no good. And then I won Florida. Big. I wouldn't let him change it. But it's a rigged deal. You see, it's rigged. And what happened is with Louisiana, I was down. like 4 or 5 points. But I know people in Louisiana, like I know people here, the Hilberts. I have so many friends here. And they're unbelievable people. And I said, let's go to Louisiana. I got 3 days. Let's go around and campaign. You know, I've never done it, so it's fun for me, right? I've been doing this for 9 months. Am I doing a good job for 9 months in all fair? You know, it's funny. When the results came out a couple of days ago, the results came out, and it was Trump wins in a landslide, all of those 5 states, and Trump wins in a landslide, New York, the week before. And one of the pundits, who actually hates me, which is interesting, but they said, you know, the amazing thing? He's only been doing this for 9 months. He's beating these senators and these governors. They've been there for like 20 years and 30 years. He's been doing this for 9 months. But, you know, you can be smart. You can be smart. And I've been dealing in politics for a long time. Nobody knows politicians. Believe me, nobody knows politicians like I know politicians. So with Louisiana, so I go on campaign. Then they have their election different from you. Yours is Tuesday. You got to vote. Is everybody going to vote on Tuesday, please? So different. They have their election on Saturday. And I go Friday night. I say, I'm going to be there. And I land, and they have this massive, massive hangar. And the place is packed. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And it's brimming outside of the hangar, through the doors, practically through the windows. I mean, the people were all over the place, going back into the runways. And I say, I think they like me here. Just like outside. You know how many people, you're in this room, and then we have another room that's bigger, that's packed. And then outside, we have thousands of people listening to what I'm saying. You believe it? You believe it? No, it's amazing. And it's like that all over. Because we have a movement, and everyone's talking about it. I'll tell you, everyone's talking about it. So I go to Louisiana, and I campaign for a few days, and I see there's something going on. Because they want jobs, and they want strong military, and they want to get rid of Obamacare. They want all the things that we all want, right? They say Trump figured it out. I said, there's nothing to figure out. People are making less money now in real wages than they made 20 years ago. And they're working harder, and some of them are working 2 jobs and they're making less. It's supposed to be the other way around as we get older, right? It's supposed to be. But don't feel bad. I'm working harder also, so I am working harder. But the truth is, look, I go to Louisiana, and I have this big crowd, and the next day they have the election on a Saturday. And the results are announced that night. Trump wins. I wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to be Lion Ted Cruz wins. And I do great with the evangelicals, and they really brought me over the top. So I win Louisiana. Then about 2 weeks later, they're showing me everything, and they're showing how well I'm doing because I'm winning South Carolina. I'm winning so many places, right? I won the South. I wasn't supposed to win the South. Alabama, Arkansas. We win Kentucky. We win Florida. We're winning all these places. Some of which I was not supposed to be winning. And I win by landslides. Then we win in Massachusetts. I win Alabama, Massachusetts. That's quite diverse, right? So we win, and they're showing me how well I'm doing. And I see Louisiana, and then I see delegates. So I win by a lot of votes, Louisiana. Then on here is right-hand column, it says delegates. I said, wait a minute, what's wrong? They said, what's wrong, sir? I said, I won the state of Louisiana, but why do I have less delegates than Cruz, who I beat? Oh, well, he went there and he started wining and dining all of these delegates, bringing them out for state dinners, bringing them out for steak, for hotels, for maybe cruises. Maybe they went fishing with all of these people that he's paying. I said, wait a minute, I don't understand. This is my first, don't forget, you know. And I realized it's a crooked system. So I said, wait a minute. So I won the state, but I get less delegates than this guy. That was my first. Who the hell would ever think this could happen? So then I hear about Colorado, right? Where they're whining and dining, and you know, they were having people protesting on the streets. They took the vote away from, they didn't even have a vote because they went out to a poll, and I did great in the poll in Colorado, and I was going to win Colorado like I won Florida and other places. So they gave the vote to the bosses, and you go out and you wine and dine the delegates. All of a sudden I say, when are we going to Colorado? No reason to go, sir. I said, what do you mean no reason to go? Well, it's over. Colorado is all delegates. It's all, you know, they get wined and dined. I said, you can almost buy the election. Put $100 million worth of freebies in a bag. Let's go buy the election. So I said, it's a rigged system. So then I realized, and here's the good news, a lot of it, well, actually, Colorado's really unfair. So is Wyoming. Very, very bad. They got to change that because that's bad, because that actually counts on the front row. Because Cruz can't win when you have to get a vote. He can do it because they have this team of very good experts. I could get much better, got much more money than he does, but it's just an unfair deal. It's an unfair deal. So here's the story. So now we start a streak. And we win in Arizona, and we're winning all over the place. And the only way it's working for me, I mean, I'm still not happy, and we're going to do it on the first ballot. And when you hear he signed all these delegates, they're signing them for second, third, fourth, and they're not signing them for the first ballot. The first ballot, fortunately, they're locked in, right? They're all locked in. And Pennsylvania had the same thing. I won in a massive, massive landslide. And they have a great Republican chairman. And really a great guy, Mr. Gleason, great guy. But he's a fair guy. But one thing with Pennsylvania, they have a moral obligation, and I've heard it for a long time, that whoever wins, there's a moral obligation of the people, of the delegates, to vote for the person that wins. So today they announced I had like 52 or 54 out of the 70. But I said, what about the rest of them? Yeah, but I did say, I think they announced 54 today. So I win the state in a massive landslide. I got 17. And they have like 70-something. I said, wait a minute, I got 17. But the good news is today, I think they announced I got an additional 34 or something. But here's the thing. But there's like 22 or 21 out there. I said, what about them? What about them? I won in a landslide. I won every county. I won everything. What about them? Well, we'll work. It's a rigged system, folks. It's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible system. It's a horrible system. And it's done so that the bosses can pick whoever they want. Now, here's the only problem. I've been winning by so much that you can't. And you probably heard me say it a couple of times. I've said it, the boxer. I know a guy's a champ. I know all the boxers. I love the boxers. We love the boxers. There's a toughness, you know. And this is a champ, and he wants to fight in a certain territory where the challenger lives. And the challenge is very good and very popular. And it's a great area, a lot of money. And the champ wants to fight there. I say, what are you, crazy? He said, you'll get a bad decision. If it goes, he said, no, you don't understand. There's one thing they can't do. If I knock him out, Mr. Trump, if I knock him on his ass and he's unconscious, there's nothing they can do, Mr. Trump. And that's what he did. He knocked him out. He knocked him out. And we're doing the same thing because I'm winning by millions of votes. And in fact, today, with a long way to go, although we don't have a long way, if I can win in Indiana. If I win, we win. It's over. It's over. If we win in Indiana, it's over. But, you know, with a long way to go, millions and millions of votes. California, New Jersey, all great places. Great places. Oregon, state of Washington, New Mexico, lots of states. But I have now broken the all-time record in the history of the Republican Party for votes. For votes. And we're not even done. I mean, we've already gotten more votes than Mitt Romney got through the whole thing, who unfortunately let us down. He choked. What can I tell you? That was an election should have been won, folks. That was an election should have been won. You know, I backed him. We lost. I backed McCain. Nice guy, but we lost. I said, this time, folks, we're going to do it ourselves, okay? We're doing it ourselves. So, but I'm watching the television this morning, and I see it in the papers. In the history of the primaries, it said, Donald Trump breaks the all-time record. I said, how can I break a record? We're like, 3/4 through. I got more votes, which to me means much more than delegates, to be honest with you. You know, it should be based on votes, not based on people that are, they like a certain steak in a certain place. But with that, I have now a lot of loyal delegates. They've been great. But it should be based on votes. It should be more based on votes. All right. But what happens is, so I break the record, the all-time record, and I'm saying to myself, I can't believe it. In the history of Dwight Eisenhower, you look at some of the great names on there, and we've beaten them already. So we're going to break the record by millions of votes by the time it ends, by millions. And I'm saying to myself, how would you like to be the guy that's running the party, and Reince, I think, is a good guy, Reince Priebus. He runs RNC, Republican National Committee. But how would you like to be the guy where Cruz goes around and, you know, I would never use the word bribe. Some people would say bribes the delegates. I would never say a thing like that. But he gets, you know, the steaks are really good, really expensive, or maybe the trips to Paris or whatever the hell they do. And they get these delegates on the second and the third and the fourth round. You know, they're committed. Why? Because they like to have good meals, right? So, which I'm not doing. But I have the first. But let's say we're 20 short or 100 short. But let's say, and we're not going to be, we're going to get it in the first, by the way. Don't worry about it. I don't want to scare you. Don't worry about it. But let's say we were 30 or 40 or 100. You know, let's say we should. Okay. So now you have Trump, who goes to a second. And I don't care about the second, right? I'm not playing for the second. That's why when you hear Cruz got delegates, he got them for the second, third, fourth, etc. It doesn't mean anything if you win on the first. How would you like to be the man that has to make the decision where Trump got 5 million more votes, broke the all-time record in the history of the Republican Party in primaries, has 500 delegates more than Cruz, and beyond that with Kasich, okay, beyond that. I mean, you know, I've been calling Kasich 1 in 38. I actually think, including the islands, he's now 1 in 42. Okay, so I have millions of more votes, hundreds of more delegates. We go to a second ballot, and you put in a guy that lost by 5 million votes and hundreds of delegates. I don't think it can happen. I think there'd be a little problem. No. How do you do that? How do you do it? If a man has, and then they do polls, and the polls are asking very specifically, if something like that should happen, what they all, 72 or 74% say, you got to go by whoever gets the most votes, which is really, I think, the right way, okay? But can you imagine that? Now, Cruz is no good at this stuff anyway. But can you imagine if he got 5 million votes less, 500 delegates less, and he becomes the nominee? And he's no good. He can't campaign properly. He doesn't speak properly. It doesn't work. So here's what he does. So he forms an alliance, right? A coalition. He forms an alliance. He colludes. It's called collusion. So he sees he's getting killed. He's getting absolutely annihilated in New York. Now he gets annihilated this last weekend and this last week in 5 states. And he says, boy, I'm in trouble. And I'm going to Indiana. I'm in trouble. So what does he do? He gets Kasich to join together. Stop Trump. And I see these negative ads. They're phony as hell. By the way, they're so wrong. A couple of them are right, but that's okay. But they're for the most part, they're absolutely wrong. I mean, absolutely wrong. They're vicious and horrible. I'm watching television at my Holiday Inn Express. Everyone thinks I fly back home every night. No, they all say, these, you know, the liars back there, they say, Donald Trump gets in his 757 Boeing and he flies back home. And then he comes, I don't want to fly for hours and back and forth. I don't even want to spend that money. You want to know the truth. I'm at a Holiday Inn. Can you believe I'm at a Holiday Inn? And I do it. And by the way, and I'm oftentimes at different places, Marriott Courtyard. I mean, I know more about these hotels. In fact, if I lose, I'm going to start buying out some of these chains, I think. So at least I learned something. No, they're fine. But you ever notice they always say, Donald Trump has left Indiana and flown back home to Fifth Avenue, where he stood for the night or slept for the evening in his beautiful apartment. Then he got on the plane in the morning and he flew back to Indiana. Give me a break, okay? So it's just crazy. Okay. But this is the kind of stuff you hear. I call them, you have Lion Ted, but you have liars back there too. Big, big liars. So anyway, no, it's been great. It's been great. And I've enjoyed it. So here's the story, folks. So we have a rigged system, we have a phony system, but we're beating it because we're doing so well and we're doing so much better. And we're going to end up winning, and we're going to make our country so strong, so wonderful, so great. You're going to be so proud. You got to get out and vote, okay? So they form, and I want to talk about jobs, but this is so interesting to me because it's such a con job. You know, I love seeing it. It's just like a total con. So now what happens? He's losing badly. So he forms this alliance with Kasich. You know, the man that eats like with large bites. You ever see? News conference. Where do you want your news conference? Around my table as I stuff pancakes down my throat. Seriously, did you ever see a guy eat like this? Honestly, I'm being honest. You know, you think, if I have cameras, I tell you, I have a lot of times where I have no choice and I'm sitting and cameras start forming and all. And usually I don't eat. I just sort of don't eat. Number one, I was taught, don't speak when you have a mouthful of food, by my mother, Mary McLeod. My mother said, don't ever eat with your mouth full, okay? And I've sort of remembered that, right? But, you know, I have a lot where there's no time or they just come, you know, they're like brutal. They break through Secret Service. I mean, they can do anything. And all of a sudden I'm eating. And you know what I do? I stop eating. I talk. I don't eat. This guy is always, do you ever notice? It's like he doesn't have press conferences. Every time you see him, he's eating. And he's stuffing his face. I've never seen the pizza. He ate a piece of pizza. I'm telling you, it was 4 or 5 inches long by 4 or 5 inches. And he couldn't get it in his mouth. And he's pushing it in with the fork. And he's got 20 cameras on. I don't understand. So what happens is Cruz called or Kasich called or somebody called. And because it's a rigged business and because it's a dishonest business, I say, hey, listen, Trump is beating us badly. We got to do something. We got to do something. And let's start with the people of Indiana because they probably think you're stupid or foolish or something. And boy, do I know the opposite. Because as soon as I heard that, I said the people of Indiana are not going to put up with this one. So they form an alliance, which is collusion. You know, in business, when you collude like that, they throw you in jail. Only in politics are you allowed collusion, right? Only in politics. So they formed this phony alliance, and Kasich is a, difficult guy. You know, he always pretends like he's the nicest guy. Oh, he's such a... You know why he's a nice guy? Because I was so busy fighting these 16 people, and nobody cared about him. He was always at the other side, right? Toward the end. Remember, I was center stage for every single debate. Ever. I won every debate. And I don't debate professionally. These guys, every night they're debating. I don't do that. But, look, hey, folks, if we're smart, we're smart. Is that right? You're smart, we're smart. I have the smartest people. I have the most loyal and I have the smart. So Kasich's over there, and nobody talks to him. And we're fighting. I'm fighting with Marco. I'm fighting with this one. I'm fighting with Cruz. I'm fighting with all of them, right? And then one day he raised his mouth. I said, wait a minute. Weren't you a managing partner of Lehman Brothers, Kasich? Weren't you a managing partner of Lehman Brothers? And Lehman Brothers failed and almost took down the world? Wasn't that you? You were a managing partner of Lehman Brothers. And Lehman Brothers almost took down the world. And after that, he never spoke badly to me again. It's an amazing, he was quiet. It's an amazing thing. Amazing thing. So he was at the end of the stage, and I'm fighting, and I'm calling names, and they're calling names. Everybody's calling names. Okay. And we all look like we're like little crazy, right? But you have to. My wife said, be more presidential. I said, I don't want to be presidential. I want to win. I got to win. Okay? You know what presidential is? They're calling your names, and you're standing here like this. I'm the president. I should not fight back. In the meantime, you get your ass kicked, okay? I have a feeling that the great Bobby Knight would fight back like I did. Don't we have that feeling? Don't we have that? I think so. I think so. So Kasich is never picked on. He's never talked about. Nobody cared about him. And then all of a sudden, it's a win, it's a win. Guys are dropping out. This one leaves, this one leaves, this one leaves. Some terrific people that really did much better than he did. Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson, who endorsed me. Look, okay, come on, Bobby.
We got to talk about this presidential crap just for a moment here. You know, just you older folks remember this, or mothers, fathers have taught you this. I'll tell you who they said wasn't presidential. I don't even know what the hell presidential means, but they told him that he wasn't presidential. And that guy they told, all these people that wanted to say you're not presidential, that guy was Harry Truman. And Harry Truman, with what he did in dropping and having the guts to drop the bomb in 1944, saved billions of American lives. And that's what Harry Truman did, and he became one of the 3 great presidents of the United States. And here's a man who would do the same thing, because he's going to become one of the 4 great presidents of the United States.
Such a great guy. Wow. How do you top that? How do you top that? What a great guy. You should be very proud of him in Indiana. This is the place he loves more than any place in the world. Okay, you got to be very proud of that guy. That is a national treasure, okay? So anyway, and by the way, does Bobby love it? Is he having a good time too? We're all having a good time. You know, we're talking about a bad subject because our country's in trouble, but when you say make America great again, one of the reporters said, that's a very negative statement. I said, no, you have to understand. That's a very positive theme. It's very positive. It's not negative. It's positive, and it's meant to be, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to make America great again. So that's it. But anyway, so they form this alliance, and it's like a disaster. And 11 o'clock, one of my people call up at my place, and I'm a worker like you. You know, if it's 11, if it's 12, it's 2 in the morning, that's okay. We work, right? Whatever it is. They need a statement, because they just formed this alliance. I said, you have to be kidding. That makes them look weak. It makes Cruz look totally desperate. It makes them look like they're trying to take advantage of the people of Indiana. And you know, Kasich said, before the ink was dry, not that they used ink, but before the ink was dry, Kasich said, well, I still want them to vote for me. In other words, he broke the deal. They're politicians. They can't make deals. They don't know how to make deals. So Cruz now looks like a fool. And I said the other thing. How unfair is it to Kasich's people? He has people like we all do running around trying to get people to vote, right? A lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of people. So now he fires all those people. Now they're going along there saying, what happened? And I saw a couple of them interviewed, just like our man back there, and they were interviewed. They said, we're voting for Trump. They worked for Kasich, and they said, we're voting for Trump. We're voting for Trump. It's terrible. So they're out there fighting for him, and that's the first thing I thought of. I said, you know, it's sort of amazing. They went out and they fired all these people. And that's not nice. You know, I mean, it's not right. Okay, so anyway. So they formed this alliance. It's a disaster. I mean, I haven't seen any polls yet, and maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe they'll be up 200 points. But I have a feeling it's not a good thing. And Cruz looks like a fool because he can't make a deal. He can't make it. He doesn't know the first thing about deal making. He did not write The Art of the Deal. Number one, folks. So here's the story. So that's bad. So now he's got to recover. What does he do to recover? He gets Carly Fiorina. Now Carly, she's very nice. Everything's fine. Carly got out. She had no standing. I mean, she had the one good debate on the children's stage, not on our stage. She was on the children's stage. Remember, she didn't debate against me. I beat Cruz 11 times in debating, according to Drudge, according to Time Magazine, according to 7 different online polling services. And then the other day I heard him say, I would like to debate Donald Trump. I beat him 11 times. How many times can you ask somebody the same question? I don't mind debating. I like to debate. I actually enjoyed the debating process. But I hear him, we want to debate. And I mean, the whole thing is so crazy. So what does he do? He now goes out and gets Carly, who left the race because she had no votes. She had nothing. And that's okay. She's a nice woman. But it's not going to help. It's not going to help. And I said yesterday, and this was like the most quoted statement, I said he broke a record, right? I said it's the first time in the history of the United States where somebody running for president who has no mathematical chance of getting elected. Zero path. He lost that 2 weeks ago. So he has 0 chance of getting elected. He announced who his vice president of the United States is going to be, folks. First time in history. My vice president will be, he can't get elected. So that's the story. Okay. So here's what we're doing. We're going to make our country, and you have to do this because we have that movement. We're on the cover of Time Magazine. I'm the messenger. I'm a good messenger, but I'm the messenger. We're going to do something very special. I got a call, and I've told this story, from one of the top writers in the world. And he said, how does it feel, Mr. Trump? I don't know him. How does it feel? And I said, how does what feel? He said, what you've done has never been done before in the history of our country. I mean, and I sort of understand it. First I'm saying, what does that mean? But when you look outside and you have thousands of people outside, and then you look, because after I'm finished with you, I am going over to your other 4,000 person room, and then I'm going to try and go outside if I can. But we have a room this size right next door where, they're watching this whole thing on a screen. But he said, how does it feel? And I said, what? He goes, what you've done's never been done, and it's amazing. I said, it's only amazing if I win. If I lose, I've wasted a lot of time. He said, no. If you win, if you lose, it doesn't matter. He said, if you lose, you've done something that in the history of our country has never, you've changed the whole process. I said, let me just tell you something. I appreciate you saying that, but if I don't win, and that means nomination, but it means beating crooked Hillary Clinton and becoming president, so we can really effectuate the right things and get our country going again and take our jobs back and strengthen our military and all of the things, right? I said, if I don't win all the way, then I will consider it a tremendous waste of time, energy, and money, because I'm self-funding. So it's money. It's my money. It's not somebody sending in checks all over the place. I mean, they had one gentleman. I don't talk about people that we've defeated because I like them all. Every time we defeated somebody, I like them, okay? It's amazing how competition works. I'm sure it's the same with Bobby. He can't stand him. Then he beats him. Hey, coach, great job. Great coaching job tonight, folks. We beat him. Bobby will say, we beat him by 40 points. Hey, I love him. But when you defeat somebody, you feel a little bit differently. But one of them had $168 million in a fund. And I was first and spent almost nothing. And that person was like last. And I said to myself, who do you want as president? I mean, is that what you want? Who do you want as president? So here's the story. You got to go out on Tuesday. You got to vote. We are going to make things so good. When companies leave Indiana, when they leave our country, when they leave, there are going to be consequences. I've been watching for years as the politicians, because this has been going on for 5 or 6 years. I've been watching for years as politicians have come up with these tremendous. I went to Wharton. I understand complexity. I loved best business school in the world. But you know what? Hardest to get into. Hardest. But you know what? I'll tell you what. I've been watching for years as they try and think, well, we're going to give tax incentives, and we're going to give this, and we're going to loan low-interest loans. So complicated. Can you imagine government guys? Let's see, we'll give you a low-interest loan. No. When Carrier leaves and they want to move to Mexico, you're going to tell them, I'm sorry, folks, but enjoy your stay in Mexico. Every unit you make that comes across my now very powerful border, because we will build a wall, believe me, folks, we will build a wall. And don't forget, last week, the Border Patrol agents, 16,500. In the history, they've never done this. They endorsed Donald Trump for president. They've never done it. And these are great people. But they're told to stand back, let people come across. And Sheriff Joe Arpaio endorsed me. So, I mean, he's a great guy and very tough. And Jan Brewer, the whole group, all great people. Because they want to have borders. If we don't have borders, we don't have a country. We don't have a country. So I'm going to tell Carrier, and I have Carl Icahn, one of the great businessmen of the world, and I have many of the top business people in the world endorsing me, right? They've endorsed me. And they know what's going on. Corporate inversions are a disaster. That's companies that are leaving. Billions and trillions of dollars are outside. They can't even bring the money back in because the politicians can't get together and everybody agrees it should be brought back in. So here's what's the story. We tell Carrie, I'd like to do it myself. I always tell my wife, I want to do it myself. She said, delegate it. I want to do it myself. It's so easy. Too easy. I love doing this stuff. I love it. I love it. Believe me, I'm going to make our nation so rich again because, unless we're rich, we can't be strong. We can't be strong. So we're going to say to whoever heads up Carrier, who I'm not particularly fond with right now. I'm not a particularly fond, I don't have great feelings about him. So we're going to say every unit you make and bring into the United States, you're going to pay a 35% tax. 35%. And we can say that to Ford, and we can say that to Nabisco, who moved their big plant out of Chicago. 35% tax. And here's what's going to happen. If they haven't already moved, many of them have already gone. If they haven't already moved, they're going to call up. And if they have Hillary or any of these other guys, their lobbyists and their special interests, they have them totally under control. They won't do anything, 100%. With me, I'm working for you folks. I'm not getting their money. I'm not. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to call up and they're going to try and talk to me. I won't even take the phone call. Say, do it, take it or leave it. You know the old expression? We don't use it in this country very much. Take it or leave it. They'll say, Mr. President, we've decided to stay in Indiana. 100%, not 90%. We've decided. Now, if it's already too late, because, I'm just getting here, folks. A lot of companies have left, big companies. But they're not going to take advantage of us anymore. So when a company moves out of Indiana or any of our other states, there are going to be consequences. And we don't have to get fancy, and we don't have to talk about low-interest loans that maybe they don't pay back. We don't have to do anything. All we have to do is use our powers. And again, I am a free trader on the record. The problem with free trading is you need smart people to negotiate good deals. We don't have those people. We have people that don't have a clue. We have people that are grossly incompetent. So our trade deals are going to be so good, and they're going to be so strong. I met a woman, a fantastic woman. She heard my speech a couple of months ago. She said, Mr. Trump, I love what you say. You are so terrific. The only thing, I don't like when you say, and I'm voting for you. She said, but I don't like what you say, we're going to make America rich again. Because that doesn't sound nice. I said, it sounds nice to me, because we can't, and I explained to her, we can't make our country great unless we're going to bring back our jobs and bring back our money and get rid of, we have $19 trillion in debt. We have health care that nobody can afford. We have horrible schooling. We have horrible roads. Our infrastructure is dying. Our bridges are unsafe. I said, we have to make ourselves viable again. We're not viable. So here's the story, folks. We're going to make great trade deals. We're not going to let China have a $300 billion and a $400 billion, and now it's up to $500 billion trade deficit. $505 billion. $505 billion. Mexico, $58 billion trade deficit. And then they say, one of these guys comes off the stage 2 months ago, said to me, Donald, you know you can't build a wall. I said, of course you can. Okay, you know that story. Believe me, that's so easy. But for a politician, they can't do that. They'll never be able to do it. Then another guy comes up a few weeks later, because I said Mexico's going to pay for the wall. And I get along great with Mexico. But, they've taken advantage because their leaders are smarter, tougher, they have more street smarts. And what they're doing to us is unbelievable. I mean, and look at the trade deficit, just the trade deficit alone. And they came, they said, you can't get Mexico to pay for the wall. And then I said, listen, I'm not going to help you get elected. But here's the story. You're going to hear me say it anyway, and they all copied me. This morning I heard Cruz say, we will build a wall. I said, where's this coming from? Cruz, he said you're going to build a wall. What happened? Where did it come from? Okay, but I told him, I said, we have a trade deficit of $58 billion a year, and it's going to go up. It's going up, unless I'm elected president. It's not going up, believe me, folks. It's going down. But we have a big trade deficit. We have a wall that's going to cost $10 billion. When you have that kind of a deficit and that kind of a cost, the worst business person in this room can make that deal really easy. Believe me, really, really easy. So we're going to have strong borders, and we're going to have people come into our country because we want that. And we want immigration. We want people to come in to our country. But they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. So our country doesn't win anymore. We used to win all the time. We used to have General Patton, George. He couldn't be a general today. He's too tough. He'd be screaming at his men. They'd say, you can't do that. That's not politically correct. They'd throw him out of the military. He'd use a foul. He had a tendency to use slightly foul language. The great thing about Bobby Knight, I'll bet he never used foul language. Do we agree? Yeah, Bobby, I would say a little bit. I've heard on television a little of the language. These are great people. A guy like George Patton, General George Patton, he was known, he was a rough guy. His troops would die for him. They'd die for him. Vince Lombardi, they'd die for him. Bobby Knight, they'd die for these people. okay? And here's the story. We are going to have a military that's going to be so strong, so powerful, so great. We are going to, as I said, we're going to take care of our cherished veterans. We're going to take care. It's part of it. And, folks, we don't win anymore, but we're going to start winning. We're going to win with our military. We're going to knock the hell out of ISIS. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to get rid of Common Core, bring education locally. We're going to win with education. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to come up with plans that are so good and so much better and so much less expensive. We're going to win on the border. We're going to win, and we're going to build the wall. And believe me, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to stop drugs from pouring in. Believe me. And we're going to win with great trade deals. We're not going to let the entire world rip us off anymore. And speaking of our military, we're defending the whole world, and they think we're all a bunch of jerks. From now on, we want to help everybody, but they have to help us, and they're going to have to help us monetarily when we defend them. Big league. So, thank you. People don't even know that. We defend Germany, we defend Japan, we defend South Korea, we defend Saudi Arabia. They were making, with the good oil price, now they're still making a fortune. They were making $1 billion a day, and we pay rent on basis. We pay rent, okay? Those days are all gone. And you know what? These countries will like us more with me as president than they do now, and they're ripping us. So here's the story, folks. We're going to start winning again. And we're going to win so much. We're just going to win, and I love doing this, so we'll do it. People tend to like it. We're going to win. We're going to win with the military. We're going to win with trade. We're going to win. That some people are going to go, no, Mr. President, please, sir, we can't take it anymore. We don't want to win so much. We're not used to it. We're used to losing all the time. Please, Mr. President. And I'm going to say, I don't care. We're going to win. And we're going to make our country great again. We're going to make America great again. So get out there on Tuesday and vote. I love you all. Thank you very much, Indiana. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. So the info for tonight, there'll be a rally in Orange County, California, and we will be streaming it, but we will be streaming it a little bit differently. Either we'll do it through YouTube or through Periscope. The way to get the link will be by following me on Twitter. I will be tweeting it out, and you can see it live. Okay? And I will also make a video, so I'll be streaming it and filming it at the same time. I'll make an awesome video, and I'll upload it usually by tomorrow afternoon. It will be an awesome video. I'll be filming the outside. I'll be filming everything. Trust me, it will be really, really good. If you are new to our stream, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and join the community. Thank you very much to all my moderators for being here and being so awesome. Always keeping the chat clean, enjoyable, and great for everybody. So yeah, like I said, the rally tonight will be streamed either through YouTube or through Periscope. Whichever one works out better. So if you want to take a look at that, the link will be in our Twitter. Or if you like us on Facebook, then you'll see the link there too. I don't think it'll go directly to the channel. It works a little bit different when you stream from your phone. But yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. Each one of you that choose us as your stream of choice. We hope to see you there. If for some reason we just can't stream, whether it be because, you know, I don't know, maybe the signal isn't good or whatever, I will post a link to one of our affiliates, an affiliate channel that we have, and he will be streaming it live. So I don't know if you want to, you know, go out there and enjoy the stream there. But I will, like I said, I will be making an awesome video that will be uploaded tomorrow. The stream will the stream from Orange County will be uploaded later on tonight if I can't do it live. So, you know, always keep a lookout on the channel. You'll see something. Thank you very much. I gotta go. Gotta prepare all my cameras and stuff. I gotta, you know, there's some patriots out there that I'm gonna be meeting up with. If you're in California, meet up with me. You know, follow me on Twitter. Send me a message, and let's meet out there. I'm meeting up some Trumpinators out there today, so it's gonna be a good day, big day. Thank you very much. I'll be signing out. Gotta get ready. Keep the Trump train rolling. Check out our video that I posted this morning. It's a Trump train video. It's pretty cool. Thank you very much.